This new state that I never knew were going to regulate wholesale real estate is now talking about requiring some sort of licensing or disclosure in order to wholesale real estate in this state. So if you're in this state and you're wholesaling real estate, please stay tuned. What's up, YouTube? It's Matthew here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to share my screen with you all and talk about this city trying to ban the we buy houses guys or other predatory home buyers. All right, let's take a look. Denver may try to ban the we buy houses guys and other predatory home buyers. Right, a lot of residents in the surrounding area are receiving these requests to sell their homes. Yeah, so Denver was a city that I was never on my radar for them to regulate wholesale real estate. You know, we heard of Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, other cities, but I never heard of Denver or Colorado talking about this. So this is interesting. This is a new state. And as I'm predicting, more and more cities and states are going to have some rules or regulations around wholesaling real estate. And rightly so. I think there needs to be some sort of regulation around it. So Denver City Council member Chantel Lewis wants to stop cash building investors. So let's see if Chantel is involved or has she may know people who are realtors and want to stop a lot of competition from wholesalers. We never know. But from gobbling up once affordable homes in gentrifying neighborhoods, often with slogans like "We buy houses," these investors post signs, call residents, and send Fox personalized notes offering cash for older properties. After buying, the investors immediately sell the property, often earning tens of thousands of dollars without making improvements. Yes, that's called wholesaling real estate. In a presentation about the ideal, Lewis decried such tactics as high pressure and exploitative, designed to take advantage of vulnerable people who weren't planning to move and may not know the value of their property. Predatory investors often prey on communities of color, parts of town where people have low incomes and little credit. Lewis said the practice spurs gentrification. So her deal is, this is actually interesting perspective, because usually when I hear about someone trying to push for this ideal, they're coming from an agent side. I don't know if she's an agent yet, or she may have ties with the NAR, right? That big agent realtor lobbying group. And so, but she's coming from a different perspective, right? She's calling for, people not to take advantage of people, maybe because they're uneducated or they have low income and little credit. So that's an interesting perspective. I don't 100% agree with it, but it's an interesting take. These investors do not need state real estate license and are not specifically regulated by Colorado law. Okay, the investments often take place as new amenities or infrastructures are built, raising property values. All right, so yeah, this is the problem with was brought to Lewis from a resident in her district, and she said it's more urgent than ever as the city plans to turn the golf course into the city's fourth largest regional park, potentially heating up property market in Lewis Northeastern District. So, there are pros and cons to this, right? On the one side, yeah, it helps them be able to sell their property for a higher price. But at the other end, yeah, you sell your house, but where are you going to live, right? Because now that all other homes are expensive, where you're gonna move to a worse neighborhood, right? In order to use the proceeds of your sale, especially if your income is not high enough where you can get a loan. Yes, you probably made a good amount of money on your sale, but a lender is not going to lend to you if your income is not enough to buy a decent sized house. So, but if you're going to move out the state or somewhere nice or somewhere that is affordable but it's still nice, then yeah, sell your house. This is good. If a park is coming in, if people are improving their homes and property values are going higher. Another thing is that when property values go higher, property taxes go higher. And so that's another aspect to that. But overall, that's the cycle of life. I mean, people flip houses, people rent out houses, and that's what happens. Yeah, so I see the pros and cons to both. A lot of the residents in surrounding areas are receiving these requests to sell their homes. Also, we wanted to be able to go ahead of folks being displaced in Park Hill in particular. The city would put limits on residential wholesalers. So this is where they start talking about wholesalers, okay? Here's how the proposed law defines them. Any person or entity who is in the business of purchasing or soliciting for purchase in a residential property, not for use as a residence for the residential property wholesaler, and with the intent to assign the contract for sale or resell the property for profit. So I guess this law applies also to a flipper. So let's say I do the same thing, but I don't want to wholesale it, but I want to flip it. So this would apply to me. But it wouldn't apply to me if I just want to buy it and rent it out. That wouldn't apply to me. Interesting. The definition would not include licensed brokers or agents, or those who substantially improve the residence before selling the property. Okay. Okay, so resell the property. They're talking about just to sell it, clean it out, maybe a hotel deal, right? But if you're going to flip it, it doesn't apply to you. Okay, makes sense. All right, so it would not prohibit fix and flippers. All right, so they're trying to prohibit wholesalers, but not fix and flippers. Interesting. Okay. Because I'm trying to understand. I mean, fix and flippers, they're going to increase the value of your home. They're going to do all these things that you talk about. But, okay. Interesting. Lewis has been researching how other cities, such as Philadelphia, we talked about Philadelphia, their laws that they passed, Baltimore, Atlanta, and have regulated predatory investors. Okay, there's a difference between just being an investor, being a wholesaler, and being a predatory investor. Yeah, people who, once they see an old lady, they're hyped, they take advantage, they just dump down on the price because they know they take advantage, or even the color of their skin may influence them taking more advantage of someone. That's a reality, right? Those things do affect how people approach you. But the people I know and the people watching this video, you all are not a predatory investor, okay? So the bill she's proposing would require residential wholesalers to register with licensing and consumer protection. Okay, so it seems like a licensing thing. Requirements of the law, the city would be required to report the number of residential wholesalers, the transactions they conduct. Licensing and consumer protection would also create a do not contract list for homeowners who don't want to hear from unsolicited buyers. Could be fined. So you could be fined if you don't follow it. Fining law would ban residential. So doing business without a license, okay? Being dishonest, contacting residents who are on a no solicitation list. So with the purpose of harassing, so if you keep on, reaching out to somebody. Okay, and the wholesalers will need to disclose, essentially, and give sellers at least 3 days notice ahead of contract. Okay. The proposal still has a long way to go, and the thing, it might change, right? They may just take out the licensing, just like we heard about Ohio, where it's just a disclosure. You don't need a license, you just need a disclosure. That may happen here. A lot of details will need to be worried. Other councilmen were genuinely supportive of curbing the practice, but had questions about how effective such laws are in other cities and how they would be implemented. Because, I still want to understand, we know that Philadelphia and other cities have implemented these laws, but how effective are they? Because, I can put a disclosure, okay, but that doesn't stop wholesaling, right? or I can get a license. That doesn't stop wholesaling. And even the states or cities that require license, are people still able to wholesale without a license? If they say, "Oh, I have a brother who has a license," or someone on my team has a license, but they're still wholesaling. So those are interesting questions that we can dive into. If I can look into more. Okay, is it actually slowing down the number of transactions that's happening? Right, all these laws and regulations. But that's a good point. All right, you all. What do you all think of this article in Denver and her approach to it? It doesn't seem like she may not be directly tied with the real estate market. This may be more of, trying to help out the community where she lives. And so let me know down below what are your thoughts. And yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll talk to you all later.